Hello, everybody. Do you get it? I tried to laugh because it's a hyena base, because Free Base Friday this time is hyenas. That's crazy. Okay, let's just move on. So, for those who don't know, last Thursday, I think, the 27th of April, yes, the 27th of April was National Hyena Day. And I could not decide what base to do. A lot of you left wonderful suggestions on the community tab, but when I was talking to a friend of mine and saw it in a couple of the comments, people had suggested hyenas. Just so happened to be National Hyena Day on Thursday, so I was like, aha, perfect, it was meant to be. Let's go ahead and make a hyena base. I haven't drawn one before, and I don't think I've even ever drawn this species, so this was definitely a unique challenge to try and capture the head shape the way I wanted it to. I was definitely referencing a lot of different animations from like The Lion King to try and get that like really fun, zany, wild smile that hyenas have, but I also still wanted it to reflect my art style and not end up looking like The Lion King, because I didn't want that. I think I did a pretty good job, and in my research for figuring out like what colors to do for these and how to do their markings and stuff, I did also learn some really cool facts about hyenas. Hyenas are territorial social groups, and they live in things called clans. So a group of hyenas is called a clan of hyenas. They're mostly dominated by females and can reach up to 70 members, which is an insane amount of hyenas in a pack. That's why whenever you see documentary footage of them all clustered together around a kill or something, that's why there are so many of them, because this is the typical size for their clans that they live in. The spotted hyena is also the largest species, with the other second largest ones being the brown and striped hyenas. The hyena is also more closely related to a mongoose than it is a cat or a dog, which does explain a lot of their face and their ear shapes if you look very closely at how they're contoured. Hyenas are actually more so hunters rather than scavengers, which is kind of a big misconception. Hyenas are always seen and depicted as being like the janitors of the savannah, which they do clean up a lot of carcasses, but this isn't their primary food source. They don't just live off of other people's scraps, or I guess other animals' scraps. They actually do hunt in order to feed the size of the clan. Though they usually do hunt alone, because whenever the clan hunts together, they catch much larger prey, and they are very opportunistic hunters, which is just fancy words for they will take what they can get. They're not going to always seek out the biggest and the best. If they find a more sickly animal that's lagging behind, or if they find smaller baby animals, they'll generally target those rather than something that's bigger, stronger, and will usually result in casualties within their clan if they attempt to take something that big down. Hyenas are also probably one of the more common species within the fandom. I'd say right up there with like wolves and foxes. And there are so many different like color variations of them, as well as relatives. African wild dogs are a common like relation that a lot of people will make, but African wild dogs are also significantly smaller than hyenas. So at some point in the future, I would like to do a base on specifically those guys. And another cute little critter that has a distinct relation to hyena is the aardwolf. If you've never seen these creatures, they're so cute and so tiny. They are just little itty bitty babies, and I want to pet one so bad because they're so cute. But this is another thing of like species of creature that a lot of people just don't even know exists. They're almost never portrayed in media, and the few times that they are, it's not exactly accurate. I do really attribute a lot of the misconception for hyenas in general to The Lion King, because they tend to make them look evil, and they serve Scar in the film, so it kind of gives them this unfortunate stigma that hyena bad guy, and people don't really appreciate them for what they do. Every animal serves a role in the circle of life. That's the one thing that Lion King did teach us. And if you've ever seen Disney's off-brand of that called The Lion Guard, they do a really great segment with Kion, And they introduce him to another character here who she really teaches him, I'm gonna try my best on this word, Sisinisawa, which means we are the same. And I love the song. I love how he learns that they are more alike. And it really depicts that hyenas aren't always the bad guy. And I really, really love that. So definitely something that I would recommend watching. I'm sure there's clips of it here on YouTube. If not, I'm sure it's on like Netflix or Disney Plus or something, but I definitely recommend watching The Lion Guard specifically for that episode to kind of give you a better idea that hyenas aren't bad guys. They're just given a bad rap. But I am pretty much done rambling about hyenas. In coloring this base, I really wanted to try and give it my own spin, but I referenced a lot of different photos of spotted hyenas and striped hyenas, and I found kind of like a happy mid-ground between the two that I think would work really good for people to be able to customize this base. I also made a male and a female variant for this one that are a bit more, I guess, exaggerated kind of body types because I really like doing more cartoony proportions with characters. As my art style is starting to evolve and grow, I'm getting a lot better at being able to do much more defined anatomy. And while these reference sheets can still work perfectly for any kind of fursuit work, I feel that these also provide like a really good anatomy balance for people wanting to get more serious art pieces done of their characters as well. So these are a pretty good middle ground. As always, the two bases will be available on my website for absolutely free. You can download them from the link in the description, artbyneffertity.com/free-bases. And you can purchase the premium version, which has all the line art, color layers, the markings, and everything that's easier to customize, as well as the pre-made parts like the different tails that I did. You can purchase that from my website for $5, or by supporting me on Patreon at the $5 tier or higher, which gives you access to all the PSD files for every Free Base Friday I've ever done. I'm going to try and stay consistent with these so that I can get them out on Friday every single time. But I've also made a lot of promises on this channel to get videos out that I just can't seem to keep because I'm terrible at sticking to a schedule, so hopefully you don't mind this base being just a little bit late. And with those last little markings, this base is finally finished and ready to be released. I do want to take a moment to thank you all for watching this video. And if you do choose to support me on Patreon, thank you so much to all my current patrons. I promise I am working on getting a cool new patron screen set up so that I can thank you all properly. But for the time being, I want to thank you so much for your support. I really hope that I can keep this trend going of releasing these bases every Friday so that you are getting what you deserve. And I'm also going to work on doing more behind the scenes content for my Patreon as well. Also, just kind of a little bit of a, I guess like a preemptive teaser. I am working on a massive video right now for the next tutorial, which is going to be showing you how you can take models from Gumroad purchases and completely prep everything. How to import it to Unity, how to get the model ready, how to customize and alter UVs on the model, how to make Substance Painter files, how to use Substance Painter, how to import everything, how to set up the shaders. Like, I'm gonna try and cover every base that I physically can and compact it all into one big video, rather than splitting it up into like 12 smaller videos, because I feel like my channel especially, I much prefer just having one singular video that teaches me all the things I need to know, and then I'll just slap chapters in it. Because that's a lot easier than basically trying to sit here and do, here's how to change a UV, here's how to assign a material, here's how to use Substance Painter, here's how to install brushes. Like, it seems like a whole bunch of videos that don't necessarily need to be made, when I can just compact them all into one singular big one. Granted, that does mean that it's going to end up being like probably 2.5 hours long, but clearly y'all don't mind the length of my videos, so okie dokie, I think that's going to wrap it up for me. I hope you all have an absolutely wonderful day and a fantastic life.